intellectual upgrade from these fools that have no brain, developing lies for naive minds, but I've come to make that change. See, I've come to tell a few stories. The first story is about a man who went to the store. He never returned home, where that night made headlines. And the people had to push for justice because they let Trayvon lay dying. See, his killer was security, not a cop with a badge. Like that makes that any better because these cops have gone mad. Well, that man was acquitted for a crime that he committed because they didn't have one side to the story or the story from a witness. Now, tell me how that justice adds up. And it's cool because his killer is a walking soul with bad luck. There is no forgiveness there. And since the system isn't fair, Lord, don't let them forgive my words because I mean what I say. This is inconformity at its finest, so things will have to be said my way, but on to the next story. Now, this story is about a man who was just trying to make ends meet. Tired of being accused for selling Lucy's on a New York street, placed in a chokehold, screaming, I can't breathe, Aragona, may your voice and those words play repetitively in their minds until it creates an elusive ideology, making their innocence a figment of their imagination, and their guilt ring out like loud bells that sound every hour to remind them that they are killers. Even worse, they are sinners. But on to the next story. Now for this story, put your hands up. Now in this position, you should not feel safe, because this is a story about a man who turned his back and ran away. Took a few shots, face forward, hands up, head down, in a pool full of blood is where he lay. Now forgive my imagery, but I'm sick and tired of prosecutors not putting enough energy into seeking justice for innocents who met their enemies. Rest in peace, Michael Brown. Now this next story is one about Sleeping Beauty and the team of the maniacs who raided her home in search for a murderer that they found later on. It was her father. And as the story plays out, telling it becomes harder. Because as Sleeping Beauty rests slumberless on her couch, her grandmother begged arduously for her safety and for them to get out. But they didn't. And ironically enough, Sleeping Beauty woke up in heaven, 7 years old, shot in the face, and we call this justice? More like too many people trying to play God. The justice system is a facade, putting innocent people on death row while the police get away with murder and a promotion on their job. Now this last story is one for the books. 12 to 22, same scenario, I guess age never mattered. Two families broken over toy guns. Who do we blame, the police or the manufacturers? Two black males that had to pay the price. Rest in peace to John Crawford III and Tamir Rice. Two families destroyed, not because the public and the police were cautious, but because they were paranoid. Now they tell us to think before we loot. Do they think before they shoot? Killing our kings and our queens because they seem too aggressive, when in all actuality the frame we sustain reminds them of their transgressions. Why do they hate us? We weren't the ones who held them captive, sold them to other owners and made their wives bend over backwards, hang them from trees and set their bodies on fire. You say this isn't about race? Well, I will show you a liar. See, your ignorance is a slap in the face. Humanity is the only thing that should be classified as a race. So when people kill people, you ought to be disgusted, not because they are black, but because they too deserve justice. So I'll protest peacefully for the chosen ones, in hopes that they will change the face to this monster we call police brutality, until we get justice. And social injustice is a depleted part of our reality, until they understand what we are fighting for. We the people declare war.